The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of Green Acres and our guests. These general gardening tips and suggestions may work for you, as well as those from alternative sources. When using any garden products or tools, read and follow all label directions.
The Green Acres Garden Podcast is the podcast dedicated to helping gardeners hone their growing skills while we celebrate our love of plants. So whether you're new to growing or a seasoned gardener, you're sure to learn something new. Join the fun as we have conversations with world-class growers, passionate green thumbs, and professional garden experts from Green Acres Nursery and Supply. Listen every week. We'll answer questions you didn't know you had. And kind of amended that into our beds, and this summer has been an abundant harvest.
Yeah, you just brought me some stuff. Thank you so much.
For sure. But before I get into that, can I give a quick shout out?
Of course.
So I have somebody who I'm so stinking proud of. I know it's a little bit late, but it's been graduation season. My niece, Lily Rose, aptly named, graduated, top of her class, valedictorian, 4.7 something.
Wow.
So she's moving on into bigger and better things. We're so proud of her.
Oh my gosh.
I got to get her a garden going.
Congrats,
I think
Lily.
she's ready. Yes.
That's so cool.
So really proud of her. And so get those kids out in that garden. I remember having her out in the garden when she was a little kid, and now she's all grown up. You love these little sprouts, which brings me to my other little sprouts. So I've been spending this summer, I've been having so much time being off a little bit from school. I've been garden maxing.
Garden maxing.
That's a new thing I've been doing. I've been garden maxing. I've been doing it with my sons a little bit. We wake up early, right as the sun's coming up, and we get out there and we go check our flowers. You know, we got our roses going. The sunflowers, I wanted to do a honorable mention. This might be the plant of the week.
Okay, what is that?
You know, a few weeks back we had Tim Dick on. We talked about, bees, pollinators, and how we're trying to avoid spraying even organic sprays sometimes. Do you want to be limited or targeted or even not spray at all? And so I've been just planting in honor of the bees, just tons and tons of stuff. And so I'm telling you, just the beginning of the summer, I planted from seed a mix of sunflowers. They are now 4 feet tall. They've grown almost a foot every week. Literally, we go out there every morning with the boys as we're garden maxing, and we're just checking on things. And what I mean by that, we're pulling out weeds, we're enjoying the garden, we're pruning as needed, we're watering where we can. But it's just fun to see these plants every single morning go out there. I'm telling you, it's been really nice. It just feels so good to get out there, just to see things growing, put a little extra time in that I normally don't get during the school year. And I'm telling you, the front yard has never looked as good. So it's been a great start to the season.
Oh, that's cool.
Couldn't be happier. And as that kind of tangles us back to the school garden, I just left there this morning and brought you a few treats.
Yep, thank you so much.
The tomatoes I'm having, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. They're having a bad tomato year.
Sure.
I'm having an abundant tomato.
Nice.
This is a bumper crop, as they call it. They're going bonkers. So, but I do want to say I've kind of stumbled upon something that we've talked about in the past. This has always been something that, has been a strategy for home gardeners. But what is one of the problems that home gardeners face, Austin, when things are extra abundant, is you have so much fruit and veggies all at once. When things kind of ramp up, it seems like you have it all at once. But we staggered our tomato plantings this year. I did one first wave in the spring, and then I waited about a month and a half. And so what I'm noticing is the ones that were early, they're doing great right now.
Cool.
But thankfully, the other half of my tomatoes haven't even come in yet. So they're about waist high, where the other ones are head high. But I'm really loving that I'm not having to go out there, because I'm already pulling in more tomatoes than I know what to do with.
Wow.
So what I'm really looking forward to, as these ones begin to get stressed and a little bit faded, as the season kind of pushes on, those late season ones I got, they're going to be thriving and kind of kicking.
Right on.
That staggered successive planting, I did it with the beans as well. And shout out to beans. The beans have been just so abundant. We're growing even just bush beans. They're about, not even knee high. Those have been so productive, Austin. We got the yellow ones, the purples, the traditional greens. I'm telling you, if you want a plant where you just need a handful of them, but you always want something to be able to go out there and for your salad or for a stir fry or whatever, beans have kind of won me back over. I've always planted them. They're fun to kind of grow with the kids. You watch them germinate. But I'm telling you, as far as just a low maintenance plant that just does its thing, I haven't had to do much work and is very productive and consistent. Dude, the beans have been amazing. So for me, that's been a surefire win for us in that garden. We're pulling out peaches, plums, pluots left and right. I'm telling you, I had a nice softened. Have you ever had a real ripe plum or pluot, Austin?
Luckily, I just had one from a friend yesterday. Yeah, it was so good.
Describe
Plums.
that sucker, bud.
I mean, it was like firm still, like the skin was firm, but as I bit in, it erupted with juice. Like it was pouring down. I was luckily eating it over the sink. Because it was just like pouring out.
A true bachelor. I like it.
And then the color was just so nice in there, and the flavor was strong. I liked it. Yeah, it's good.
No, so that's how the garden is right now. It's so abundant. The blackberries, the strawberries. I've got basil coming out of my ears.
You brought me a bag of basil. Thank you.
A proper bag. That's like that's like a dumpster full. But that brings me to today's topic.
Yes.
Because all this food, scrumptious deliciousness, we love it. And today's topic is I'm really excited about, because I think we might even have to do further future episodes in the future on this, because there are so many people, even in our own just region here in Northern California, that are wicked passionate about today's topic, this fruit tree. I'm talking, hey, what do these things have in common, Austin? Scrumptious, incredible fruit, unlike any other.
That's a good word, scrumptious.
An incredibly beautiful plant in and of itself.
Oh, sure.
Where the flowers you never see, but it does get them, and wasps. What do those all have in common? And of course,
figs.
Yes, figs. We're talking fig trees this week. Austin, fill us in. You got to meet a fig expert.
Yeah, so this is weird. This is different. I did an interview. I went out and met up with a good friend of mine. His name is Roman Ambroselli. He's such a fascinating guy. He's a true Renaissance man, and he is in love with growing figs, and he really jumped down the rabbit hole, and he's getting connected to all the local fig growers, and he has a little collection he's been building at home. And I went and visited him. I went to his house. He's got a beautiful backyard where he's grown a lot of different things, but he brought me in and showed me his fig trees, and it was such a wild world. I can't believe we've never done this topic before. So I was learning things like crazy. So I'm so excited to share this with you, Kevin. And this is kind of different because like normally you were there, but this is...
I will listen along with all of our listeners today.
So I'll play it for you right now for the first time. And if anything pops up that's interesting, let me know. Tap me on the shoulder. We could stop it if we need to, or we'll just react at the end. But let's go ahead and jump into this. I met with my good friend Roman, the fig expert, right here in Land Park, Sacramento. Let's jump into that interview now. Here we go.
No, this is the only one out front,
okay,
at least right now.
Let's take a look at what you have inside.
Okay. And then there are the two on the roof there that I've started to...
What?
My only free space.
You've got figs on the roof?
Yeah.
Roman, how did you even get them up there?
You know, piece by piece. Like I put the pots up there, and then I took bags of soil and just carried the bags up a ladder.
Okay, describe this. You've got, what even is this structure?
It's my garage. This is the garage.
So on top of your garage, you have two large potted figs.
Yeah, and the plan is to expand this further too. As long as the structure of the garage can support this, I will continue to put a few more trees up there.
So you've ran water up there. You've ran... Oh my gosh. Greg, have you ever seen figs on a roof?
No, I never.
My name is Roman Ambroselli. We're in Land Park, which is a neighborhood just south of Sacramento, and we're touring the various fig plants in my garden at my house. Back here in the corner of my yard. So this is my biggest fig tree.
Oh, cool.
And this thing, is probably, I don't know, maybe 10 feet tall.
It's getting big. That. It's spreading out. It wants to go, doesn't it?
Yeah, and so as I've learned, this is actually the first fig tree I planted. And you can see, we probably have a diameter of maybe 6 inches down there, 4 to 6 inches on the trunk. And I've learned I should have trained this tree better. This tree was, kind of growing in weird directions, and I'm going to have to get it under control. But at the moment, I probably have 100 figs on it, so I don't really want to mess with it too much.
It's cool. What kind of figs?
This is a black mission.
Black Mission. All right. That's the classic, right?
This is the popular one. And Black Mission you find in the stores pretty much everywhere. So the reason why, that is the most common to find in stores is because it has to do with the thickness of the skin. And it just transports better and it lasts longer. So they're able to put it in a truck, move it to a store, move it around on the shelves, those types of things, and it doesn't go bad as easily. You know, this is one of my least favorite figs, honestly.
Just because there's so many more interesting, cool things?
Yeah, exactly. I think just like the flavor profile, it's not that sweet for me. You know, I did grow up eating this, so I think I'm a little bit more just like used to it, and it's not exciting. But yeah, exactly. I mean, there's so many different types of flavors that you can get from figs outside of Black Mission that I mean, it kind of just feels boring.
And then this one does well in the climate, right?
Figs in general, like Sacramento, like the climate is almost identical to where, you know, they came from. So that being like the Middle East and like Southern Europe, Eastern Europe. And so I think that's why, I mean, first of all, you see them grow wild here, like literally everywhere. This kind of also gets into the, you know, the anatomy, I guess, of a fig. So there are female trees that produce edible fruit for people to eat. And then there are the male figs, which they call capri figs. Yeah, which is kind of interesting.
So is that like an avocado where you need to, like a male and a female to pollinate?
It is sort of. So yes, for sure.
Wow.
To pollinate a fig, you need a male and a female to have a pollinated fig. The difference is all of the ones that you're eating are female figs because they're the only ones that produce fruit that are sweet that you would want to eat.
Huh.
All of the male figs are basically inedible. And if we have some time, we can walk across the street. There's a capri fig literally right across the street.
Oh.
And so it's all a part of the life cycle of figs in general. So like, and it actually relates to the fig wasp a little bit too.
Okay.
So you have a capri fig that has these figs that are male and inedible. The fig wasp lays its eggs inside of those figs, produces a bunch of like baby fig wasps. The females fly out and look for other figs to do the same thing in, right? The female figs kind of trick the wasp, and they fly into the wasps fly into the figs to pollinate them. And so that's how figs are pollinated. And they also like, so that improves the quality. So originally, the fig has a certain, you know, flavor profile and taste. Once they're pollinated, it goes through a process where it actually tastes even better. So that's one of the reasons why pollinated figs in our area are even a possibility, because fig wasps don't exist everywhere. They exist almost solely in very small areas of the United States. It's really only in like California and Florida, like the two places.
So we're pretty lucky.
Oh yeah, for sure. So this also makes it a really exciting thing to grow in this area because, like, I mean, we can have some of the best tasting figs in our entire country. So.
And that's because the wasps are making them taste better.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Wow. So you could grow figs in another state, but they'll never quite achieve that.
Not only will they not taste as good, because people say pollinated figs literally taste, you know, substantially better, but some clones you can't even get edible fruit off of unless they're pollinated. So it's kind of an even more, you know, crazy thing where we have varieties that you can't even grow or eat anywhere else. So yeah.
What a wacky world these figs are.
Yeah. It's one of those things where like it gets people into gardening. They do say that figs are one of the easiest things to propagate. So like, and that also I think is also a really good entry level thing into, like, you know,
just propagation.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, these trees are like basically just like cut a branch off, stick it in some moist soil, and, you know, that's pretty much all you have to do. Yeah.
It'll just start rooting out of there?
Yes.
Nice. And
now, there are other techniques that give you higher success rates, but...
let's say, you know, somebody is inspired to grow a fig for the first time.
Yeah.
What variety do you recommend? And then what do they need to do to get it started, up and going?
Yeah, so I would say starting with a plant that is already, you know, well situated, I think, is the smartest thing. They are pretty easy to clone, kind of as I mentioned, but like having a fig that's already rooted is going to save you the learning curve of that process.
So don't start with cutting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Probably not. If your ultimate outcome is to have, fruit that you're able to consume, starting with a small plant, a lot of, the nurseries in the area do have the common varieties. Pretty much any fig is going to do really well in Sacramento, though. Like, there are some areas where you have to really be paying attention to, like, how cold your winters get. There's a variety called Chicago Hardy, for example,
Cold hardy?
Which is famous for surviving winters.
But we have pretty mild winter. So
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I've never had any problems with any of my figs in the winter, and they do go dormant. They lose their leaves, around when fall occurs, and you see the leaves fall off of all of the seasonal trees. And you'll see these effectively turn into single sticks.
Okay.
And then, in spring, you'll see them wake up and new growth for the most part.
And then what does the care look like for the first couple of years as they're getting established?
Some things that I've found, like, I think having the correct pot size is important, like, which is probably true with most plants. Like, you want to make sure that you use a smaller pot when it's smaller, and you upsize the pot as you see the roots start to poke out the bottom. If you go too big too early, it's really hard to control, like, the amount of moisture and where the moisture is in the pot. And then you'll start to see, I had an issue here. This pot is too small for this tree, and I let it go dry, and all the leaves fell off. So that was a nice mistake.
And that's not in its dormancy. It's just unhappy.
Exactly.
But it's got a lot of fruit on it, so it's figuring it out.
Part of this also, I had this on over here, and it was hidden behind my fig tree, and I forgot that I had that tree back there. So I forgot to water it.
That's classic.
But it is like, most plants, like, you can't forget too much. It's not as forgiving as like a succulent or something like that. If the soil does dry out, the first thing it does is you can see the stress in the leaves, and the leaves turn yellow, and then the leaves get crispy and they fall off.
So what is a typical watering regimen? How often do you find that you're watering, and how deeply?
In my head, I kind of keep track of the last couple days, and I'm like, typically if the weather is below the 80s and it's in the growing season, so spring, summer, fall, I usually only water like once every 3 days or so. Make sure that the soil doesn't get too dry in these pots. If it gets into the 90s, you pretty much have to water every other day at least. And then if it's 100, you need to water every day.
Got it.
But they are super forgiving. Like, if you forget, like, I messed this up, but it's perfectly fine. It's going to come back.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Cool. What about feeding? Do you find that they need a lot of fertilizer, or?
No, I mean, most of what I know is just from reading what the farmers do online. There are some groups that sell or, grow large quantities of these, and the people that I follow recommend just like a well-rounded fertilizer, slow release type pellet that I put in pretty much all of these. I do, when I pot them, I usually use the EV Stone starter.
The Sure Start.
Sure Start.
Okay. So both of those it's like an all-purpose fertilizer is best.
Yep.
Okay.
I think some people do definitely get into more of tuning the feeding and those types of things. I think some people actually, when they start to fruit, I think there's a bloom booster type fertilizer that you can do too, that I think a lot of
makes
folks
sense.
use.
Okay, so they're easy to grow, it sounds like.
Yeah, super easy. And ultimately, I mean, you can see this type of growth literally, this is 2 years old, this tree, it's
getting up there.
4 or 5 feet tall. Yeah.
It's getting up there, man.
And so if you get these in the ground, they grow even faster. So this is like 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. And this is where they really want to be. And I do not water this tree at all. It just gets water from, the garden around it, and shaping of the trees, which is also a very important thing if you care about how they're going to grow, and where you're going to have them situated. If you want them to be, sometimes figs can grow into more bush type. And actually you can see it right here. See how it's growing these suckers out of the bottom?
Yeah, right there.
There's even, some stems coming out of the trunk. So like if you don't remove those will become part of the tree. And so naturally, figs grow into these big, like bush-looking shapes.
Just go wild, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And if you go over to the river, you can see these just massive groves, that have just turned into bushes, hedges of figs. So like a lot of people like to prune them in ways that opens them up a little bit more. Your fruit, so like they need a ton of light. Probably as much light as you can get. Sacramento, the sun is very intense, so like you can actually maybe even overdo it a little bit. But
is that why you're putting them on the roof?
Yes, that's the best place that I have for them.
You're hunting for full sun, and you've gone onto your roof to grow figs.
Yes. Yep, and that is a good place. I do struggle a bit up there because it's hard to keep the soil moist with that much sun in a pot. If that were a hill, like, and if they were planted in the ground, I think they would be doing like 10 times better than how they're doing up there. You can tell that they're yellowing a little bit.
I just want to thank you again for allowing us to come in, for you to share your love of figs, which I kind of just learned about you.
Yeah.
How did you get into figs?
So I think a lot of it goes back to memories I had when I was younger. I remember kayaking actually at Lake Natoma, and I remember my mom would be like pointing out, figs on the coastline of the lake, and we'd paddle over and like literally just float in the shade and snack on them. And I remember doing that for years. And then once I was able to have a garden, and once I discovered all of the different types, I kind of realized, actually, some of this goes back to, I'm into running. I go on a lot of jogs, and living in this neighborhood, one of the best places to run is along the river, the levee areas here. And when I'm on like a 6 or 7 mile run or something like that, I mean, you could use a snack, while you're out and about. And
you're just gonna
literally snacking while I'm running out there. And I came across a few huge trees in the levee area, and I just noticed how different they tasted than anything I had at the store. And so that kind of got me into some of the communities online. So there's Facebook groups, there's some Facebook fig groups that have, thousands of people in them. And a lot of people that hunt for figs, wild figs, to find varieties. And there are a lot of people that just trade. And so after I found this fig, I posted about it online, and it got like a ton of traction. Like I had like 500 or 600 people that were like reaching out to me, asking for like a cutting of this fig that I discovered.
What was it? What was it?
It's a wild fig. So when figs are crossbred, you have a Capri fig and a normal fig, it produces a fruit or a tree that is half of, each. And so technically anything that's wild is probably going to be something that hasn't been found before. It's effectively two different types of trees. Where like these trees that we were talking about earlier are clones, like, someone snipped a cutting off of it. The ones at the river are, wild. So
we don't even know what that was.
So I gave it a name. I called it Riverside. And I told these people about it, and like I mailed out like, 40, 50 cuttings from it. and yeah, so they're growing the same thing, which is also kind of fun because they send me pictures of it and those types of things. And I've seen them grow.
What a fun intro into it.
Yeah.
You didn't know anything about growing them, and you're sending out cuttings.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think you kind of stumbled upon it,
yeah,
and discovered there's a whole world here. It was like a rabbit hole almost.
Yeah, exactly. Finding out all the different types, and then finding the people in the area that actually have those types, because you can't find them in the stores for the most part. And then tasting them all and just like, having your mind blown about, how good they can be.
How do you decide when to harvest your figs? Because I feel like
good question.
Sometimes I've had some that are too soft.
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. And I find that online, a lot of people that sell figs are selling them unripe, or you go to the grocery store and they're unripe in the grocery store too, which is another famous thing, because when farmers grow them, they want them to last until they reach the shelves. And figs are like one of few fruits I mean, I think there are other fruits, but they're one of the few that doesn't ripen more once you pick it. Like you pick it and like that's it. Like it doesn't sweeten anymore. Like it's gonna be exactly like it was when you picked it. So you can't, like if I picked one of those figs right now and waited, a couple weeks, they would literally just be garbage. They would just get soft and like they wouldn't have any sugar content to them.
Huh. So how do you know? What are you looking for?
So they're ripe when people talk about they kind of hang down a little bit. So you start to see the neck. I think they say the neck breaks a little bit and you see them droop down. That like drooping motion, look is, exactly when you want to get them. And you don't want to wait too long. It kind of depends on your area. Like us around here, the squirrels get them or the birds get them. So like the second like you notice them starting to ripen, like you should probably get them off the tree because they'll disappear.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. And what is the harvest time? I think we're just about in it, right?
Yep,
What time? Yep. What is the fig season?
No, it's a good time right now. I believe Breva fruit start to ripen around May to June, and then you start to see the main crop stuff starts to ripen around the end of June, July time, and you see it go all the way through, the beginning of fall for the most part. And some areas that don't have true winters can start to see the figs even ripen, I think, closer to wintertime. But for us, like I think it's around when the temperatures start to drop a bit.
Thank you so much, Roman.
For sure.
Any final words for anyone who wants to grow fig?
No, I mean, have fun. I mean, I love it. It's a really fun thing to get into. And if you love baking, if you love anything else, I mean, you can get into preserving them. There's all different types of ways that you can go into growing them. So
okay. Well, let's go enjoy one.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we are back. Kevin, what did you think of my little interview there with Roman?
I'm jealous.
I know, I'm
he
sorry.
sounds like a great person. I loved hearing it. He made me laugh because I love when someone's telling you a story about something they're passionate about, and then they'll make themselves kind of laugh.
Yeah.
And he kept doing that. I love it. I feel like I fully missed out, but I think you did a fantastic job. And what I really took away from it is, here's a quote: "They grow like a weed here. Mm-hmm. Easy to grow." I love all that. He makes it sound very accessible. We've brought this plant up in the past, and I think this is something that, for how some people treat their roses or other flowers, this is kind of like that category for fruit trees because there's so much variation. There's all these different cultivars and hybrids. He was talking about, finding wild varieties that he thought tasted really interesting, and then hundreds of other people are now, excited to hear about this new variety he found. It's like, it's kind of, you never know where a simple pluck of the fruit will take you. Him, snacking on some wild ones along the shoreline there. It's pretty exciting. And I think what's really cool is the climate from where they come from and where we live is almost identical. They're so similar.
Right.
Our hot, dry summers, our kind of cool, mild winters. So their origin is the Eastern Mediterranean, Western Asia, very similar to here.
What we have. And then we benefit from the agriculture of figs here and the having of those wasps here.
That's so cool. Love it. Absolutely love it. And there's, I think one of the keys to the fun of it is there's variation. It's kind of like how people are into, what is it? That's like that guy you meet who's into IPAs or whatever. They're so into it. They love all these different varieties. There's so much to choose from when it comes to different cultivars. I've gone to the nursery. You see little dwarf varieties that are amazing for containers. That's another thing. He talked about how he literally has them up on his roof. That's how dedicated this home gardener is. That's why I love that. We have so many different types of people come on to talk about plants and to hear from him and his passion. And he's literally like pointing to, they're up on my roof.
Yeah.
Come on. That is pure
I was truly
love
shocked
of the game.
by that. I had no idea that was going to be the case. And then I went up there.
Nice.
It didn't make it into the episode, but I went up there with him and checked him out. And he was talking about how he's planning to get more up there, but he's concerned about the weight on the roof.
Structural integrity.
So he's like doing all this stuff to plan for it accordingly. Crazy, crazy cool stuff.
I love it. And it just makes you know that, hey, this is a plant super easy to grow, in ground, amazing. In a container, just right size for the right plant, and you're good to go. Full sun, well-draining soil, moderate watering, and they are going to be rewarding you with tons of amazing, weird, freaky, unique fruit that a lot of times you just cannot get otherwise, especially some of those varieties he was mentioning. And one of the things that really caught my interest, he mentioned berry-like. Anytime somebody mentions that a fruit or something is berry-like,
sounds good.
I'm on board.
Well,
like,
it seems like there's also another lane that they can be, which is more of a honey taste.
Yes, okay.
So they can go honey or they can lean berry. And he likes the deep, rich berry ones, but his daughter really likes the honey flavored ones. So he gets some for her that he grows, and he kind of grows a variety. And that's super cool. And I believe we sell quite the variety at the stores. I think we sell these in slips or fruit sleeves. You can buy a variety of fruit figs or, figs at the stores. But then, he got connected to a local community here that we have. There's all these fig lovers here.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Oh, for sure. You see, like I said, it's just like anything else. You see people that really just go all in when it comes to these different plants, and the figs is one of those categories. And I think for the home landscape, the edible landscape, the home garden, the backyard orchard culture, whatever you want to call it, if you want to grow something delicious right outside your doorstep, figs are an amazing option.
Cool. Well, thank you for giving this a listen. It was too bad you couldn't make it. I'm sorry, but next time we'll have to get you out there. Maybe Roman will let us back over there, and I could bring you along.
God, I'd love it.
And gosh, I had so much fun. Thank you, Roman. I had a blast. Not only did I get to see all of his figs and do that interview, he also fed me some figs. He had some vacuum sealed in jars he brought out to share with me. It was so good. And he shared with me a lot of photos. I'll try to post some stuff in our Facebook group and give you share everything that Roman shared with me. But that is all for this week. Big shout out to Roman. Thank you once again. Kevin, that's all for this week. Go ahead and take us out.
May, how the time flies. Shout out to Roman. Keep on growing those figs, bud. That was awesome to hear. Huge thanks to all the listeners. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you be like figs this week. Be tough, be resilient, be forgiving, and come back next week for some more garden adventures. We have got so much in store for you in the future episodes. The summer just keeps on giving, man. It's the keep that keeps on giving. So happy gardening to all of you out there. Have an amazing week out in that garden. Get out there when it's cool, when you can. Get some dirt underneath those nails and go have some fun, garden friends. We'll see you next time. Happy gardening to you all, and please never stop growing. Figs!